Welcome back. While many of us will have memories from our early years of the bullies in our schools, sadly, though, the culture of bullying is still rife. And while some kids might retaliate, we don't always recognize the prolonged psychological effects on those who don't express their feelings. So, 10-year-old Siyavuya Mabece has written a book titled Enough, Stop Bullying. She joins us now to tell us more about her book. Siyavuya, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Good morning. Talk to us about the book. Why did you decide to write this book?
The reason why I wrote this book is because bullying is a really big thing.
Yeah.
It's a topical issue globally and locally. So I really wanted to write this book because some kids even kill themselves because they keep on getting bullied and they hate it. And, you know, we're losing many souls that belong here on this earth.
Yeah. I mean, when you're saying that a lot of kids get bullied and a lot of them don't even know how to reach out, how do you think bullies are, and I mean, I know you touch on it on the book, but how do you think bullies actually behave, and how do you think bullies spot that person to bully?
You know how I think bullies spot that one person to bully?
Yeah.
Is that they can see there's this person who's shy, who's quiet, who's really smart.
Yeah.
You know, who's fun and playful, but, you know, is quiet alone. They find that person to bully, and they're like, hey, let me bully this person. He's so quiet and small. He's probably stupid enough to not even think he's getting bullied.
Yeah.
And then they ask him to do things like, hey, do my homework. Hey, you're smart at maths. Can you please do my maths homework? Because I don't know how to do this. The teacher didn't explain it nicely. You know?
Yeah.
Even in this book, it has a story about Zama and Colin.
Yes.
Colin is the bully here.
Yeah. And when you're talking about the story about Zama and Colin being the bully, how difficult do you think it is for kids to talk about the fact that they're being bullied?
You know how difficult it is to talk about bullying, you know? Like, if you're that shy person who can't speak, you know, enough, it's going to be hard. And the fact that the bully has eyes on you. So if you try and talk to someone, they're going to be like, who did you talk to? What did you say to them? Do you tell them about me bullying you? I'm going, after school, I'm going to fight you or whatever. So they're scared of that happening.
Yeah.
Because there's such things like physical bullying and cyberbullying, verbal bullying, sexual bullying.
Sure. What do you understand about cyberbullying?
What I understand about cyberbullying is like, you know, there's that one kid who's, you know, quiet and, you know, watches social media, right? They post a video of themselves making a TikTok dance. Example, they do, I don't know, Renegade is really old. Like, you know, those new trend dances.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can see Zama in the story. What if he posts a TikTok video of him? And, you know, in the story, Zama's a shy, small boy, dark skin, with crooked teeth, and he posts that video. And then in the comments, people might say, oh my gosh, why do you look like that? You look so brown, like, you know, a coffee bean, or like burnt chicken or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
And then, like, that's bullying, but they don't say it in person.
True.
Because they can't see the person through a phone, right? Like, you're here with your phone and then someone comments this. You can't see their face expression. So that's why cyberbullying is like kind of like more popular because, you know, people, they don't know how they feel, you know, behind the camera.
Yeah.
Even at school, they teach us not to cyberbully because you don't know how you're hurting that person, you know?
True, very true. And when you're looking at, I mean, you're speaking about how is it that bully spots the victim, so as to say, how the process of you actually writing this book now, right, and educating all of us around bullying, how was that process for you? I mean, to be an author at the age of 10 is something very substantial, right? Talk to us about the process of writing the book.
The process of writing this book was actually really fun.
Yeah?
You know, there were no challenges, no struggles, because I had my mom on my side, my coach, Auntie Ondiswa, she was there with me. You know, we were in Zoom meetings and she was always there with me.
Yeah.
And my mom also there supporting me when my coach gives me tasks to do.
Yeah.
And it wasn't hard, actually.
Did you do research? How much research did you have to do on this?
a lot. But if I knew the research like from head, you know,
Yeah.
it wasn't really that type of a struggle.
Yeah.
You know, me and my mom would just go search types of bullying. We scroll for the perfect information that we can use in this book, and we use it here.
Sure. When you're looking at the kids right now that are going through bullying, right, and many kids right now are being bullied, and
Yes.
especially as you were speaking about cyberbullying is a huge form of bullying because they hide behind a phone, they're not real, right? How would you advise a kid who's listening to this conversation and thinking, you know, Siya, I need to stop and confront my bully? How do you advise them to do that?
You know how I'd advise them to do that?
Yeah.
Is stop being in that small, afraid shell, you know?
Yeah.
That shell you've been in your whole entire life. Stand up to the bully, you know? Just break out of that shell and say, I don't want to be bullied anymore. I hate being bullied. It's not nice. Because here in the story, Zama stands up to Colin, actually. Colin has been bullying Zama for a long, long time.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? And Zama can't take it anymore. He even writes a poem here in this book.
Sure.
He writes a poem there, somewhere on this page. He's like, Colin, I don't want to be bullied anymore. Here it is.
Yeah.
I'm
this
normal
the one
like
on,
you.
on page 25, hey?
Yes, he's like-
yeah, you can read it to everybody. They can.
He's like, he writes a poem because he doesn't know what to do. You can write anything to the bully, but he says, I'm normal like you. People say I'm different because I'm shorter than my normal age. I'm being treated badly, yet I didn't ask to look like this. I try to please everyone because I want to fit in. Can people see me as the same as them? I promise to show them that I am also a good person. Can people give me a chance to prove that I am normal and that I need friends? I am not just short. I'm not just a short bookworm. I'm a person.
And sometimes people forget that the people that they're bullying are actually that. They are just people.
We're all human. We're all the same. We have eyes.
Yeah.
We have eyelashes.
Yeah.
We have, you know, we have a heart. We have legs. You know, we all the same.
Yeah.
Even though if someone lost a leg, we're still the same. If someone doesn't have an arm, we're still the same. There's no reason to bully them.
Yeah. And what happens then if a child, for example, is being bullied by a teacher? And that happens a lot in instances. I mean, where do you go to? And I think there's even an added layer of you're afraid to even confront the bully because now the bully is your teacher. Your bully is no longer just a Zama and a Colin. The bully now is somebody who's your authority, so to say. What do you do? How do you advise somebody who's being bullied by a teacher?
How I advise someone who's being bullied by a teacher is, you know, if a teacher says, hey, do better in your work, like, you're not doing nice, you know?
Yeah.
And then just have proof, because a teacher is a really big person, you know?
True. Very true.
The principal hired them to be good to the children, to look after the children. And if a children has a threat against that teacher saying, this teacher has been bullying me, and then they call them to the principal's office, you know? And then what are you going to do now? Because the teacher might say, excuse me, I did not say anything.
So they deny the whole thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
So have proof, you know? Maybe at school you have your phone hidden behind the books here.
Okay.
You record this whole conversation, how the teacher treats the kids and even treats you. You know, try and have proof, you know, till this day, till Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, yeah.
And then probably next Monday, show them the proof.
That's very true. And what happens if the bullying is happening in the household? Because, you know, they always say that sometimes if the parents are the ones that are bullying the kids or mistreating the kids, then the kids end up being bullies at school and bullying other children. How do you advise now a child who's got a parent and the parent is not being so nice and the parent is bullying the child? What are your thoughts on that?
You know what I advise the child?
Yeah.
Is, you know, try and speak to the parent. Because, you know, some parents who go through depression if their mom died,
Yeah.
or if, like, their wife got in a car crash, or, you know, anything happens, and they end up getting depressed, and they take the anger on the child, their
True.
own child, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Like, even in this story, it does explain that Colin's parents are fighting.
Yeah.
And they all blaming it on him.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
It shows why Colin bullies.
Yeah.
Because his parents are fighting and they're blaming it on him.
So there's a lot of pressure that's happening in the household.
Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, as we're looking at who can be bullied and who does the bullying and who do the bullies target, how do you think we deal as people with those issues that you're talking about? Being in a household where you are depressed, where there is a lot of fighting, where it's not safe for the child, how do you think a child can feel safe in that household?
You know, it's actually up to the parents' job. In chapter 6 here, it explains play your part. It also says here what parents can do. It said it's important for parents to speak to their child and create a safe space environment for them.
True.
You know, try and take your problems away from your child. Because if your child sees that you're fighting, they might get depressed, they might feel angry, they might feel like, why are my parents fighting? It's all my fault. And then they'll take it out on other children.
True. This is very true. So it is a parent's responsibility to keep the child safe.
Yes. They should speak to their child as often as possible about bullying. And you know, like when you come back from school, or like if they fetch you in school, just talk to them and say, hey sweetie, how was your day today?
I got you.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
What happened today? Did you get bullied?
Yeah.
What did this person do? How was your day with your best friend? Or
Yeah.
something like that. Even I do that with my mom. When we come back from school, we talk to each other. We're like, she's like, so how was your day today? I'm like,
Yeah.
my day was fine. It was great.
So, yeah, I'm being told to wrap this conversation in my ear, but you've literally captured the entire studio, so I've got no problem about the fact that this is probably going to be continuing way after. Siyavuya, I am very proud of you. Well done for writing this book about bullying. If you don't have a copy of the book, get your parents to get yourself a copy of the book. Parents, get yourself the book. Siyavuya Mabece, author of the book, Enough, Stop Bullying. Dumbfounded, right? Of course, I see her there giving us her insights as a 10-year-old on exactly what bullying is all about.